Delighted to be here in Nairobi today to present, as Graham said, a data-driven banking at scale, unlocking insights with search AI platforms. That's a big title, but I bet you there's one word on that you've heard quite a lot today, and that's AI. Who here has not heard of AI? Hands up. Nobody, right? It's everywhere. But imagine a scenario where we would work with AI in our corporate environments. And I know that this presentation states that it's specifically for banking, but this is relevant for everyone else out there that's in all the other industries. So if you're in insurance, we spoke to many insurance people today. We spoke to people from public sector. This is relevant for everyone. So in our consumer world, we are working with AI every day. ChatGPT, right? I think everyone's heard of it. What do we expect from that? We expect that when we ask a question, we get very relevant and detailed answers, something very specific for us. Now imagine the same scenario in the corporate world. If you had a way to interact with your data and you could get the same responses regardless of where that data came from, that would be something very powerful. So I'm going to take you on a small journey here today through that. And why is this happening? Well, it's the data. It's the data problem. Data is increasing. So right now we have over 400 exabytes of data created every single day, but 68% remains underutilized. Just think of all that data you've been collecting in databases. Think of all of that data that's unstructured data that exists inside your organization. All the value that's in that data. But unfortunately, we're not actually extracting the financial or the business value from that data. So if I look at it, we see how much of that was actually generated last year, 175 zettabytes of information. That's 90% of the enterprise data, which is unstructured data. Right? So what does unstructured data mean? Think about your regular structured data. That's from your traditional systems, your databases, etc. But if you look at unstructured data, that's data coming from log files, from emails, from scripts, etc., etc. All of those PDF documents, emails, everything that you have inside your organization. And remember when I used that example of ChatGPT, in order to be successful, to be able to get a correct answer and response, you need that data. You need that access to that data. So if we look at what happens in financial services, our leaders, they're starting to leverage AI. A large portion of financial services leaders struggle to get the data from AI. And it isn't the blocker is not innovation is not the blocker. The blocker is actually being able to make the right decisions from the data that you have. And if we can't get the data, we can't make the decision. So what breaks? Typically, what breaks is the data quality issues. Remember ChatGPT? Bad data in, bad responses out. The same thing in your corporate environment. If you can get the data with the right quality into your system, you can get the right responses. Hallucinations, right? Simple things like biased blind spots in private data or siloed systems. We all know the corporate world where data exists per department. I have my department, I have my data. Someone else has their department, they have their data. Do they work together? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Imagine having an overarching solution where you could gather data from all departments and be able to search that in real time. So what's needed? Clean, high quality data, unified. So again, bringing that all together. Human oversight and just simple explanatory. So having all this in one system helps us to be able to generate that AI future for you. What are banks looking for? Well, customers. Customer expectations are on the rise. We expect more. We're used to it in our consumer world, we want it in our corporate world. Technology spending across the banks is on the grow, so we know that. We know that the banks must invest in these technologies in order to be able to compete on the market. And then of course the threat intelligence, the regulatory, the compliance. So how do you pull all that together? This is a major challenge for most organizations. So the evolution of making information and being able to consume information goes all the way from the traditional banking stages, from transaction to solution to the marketplace experience, all the way today to lifestyle. And what do we offer? Well, in a bank, you need to be able to build those branch networks, the traditional branch networks, the trust. Then the online banking. Nowadays, it's social engagement, it's the omni-channel or the distinct channel. But behind all of those models are domain services. Those are the services that bring all of that to you to be able to deliver that service to the customers. Simple things like identity, right? Being able to secure your environment, have customers able to log in securely from all of the information from account services, credit risk, payments, regulatory. So bringing all this together, you actually need a platform that can go across multiple domains inside of your organization. Because we want to acquire customers. We want to be able to then integrate our customers from retail banking into commercial, asset management, etc., etc. So it's quite a complex environment, but behind all of this is lots of data. The data is still the key. So how do we do that? With Elastic, we're saying any data, any source, any structure of data, bringing all this together gives you AI experiences. So putting Elastic in the middle is the Search AI platform. So at the title of my presentation, that's what we were talking about. How to build that Search AI problem. And if you think about it, search is something fundamental to us. It's something we do every day. Once you stand up in the morning, the first thing you do is you search for the light switch, or you search to your telephone, or you search for your toothbrush, whatever it is, it's a search action. The same thing in the corporate world, we're searching for insights in our data. In the security space, we're searching. So security solutions is all about search as well. What are we searching for in security? Bad actors, threats, malware. And if we have the data, we can find it. So if we look at this from the playbook perspective of banking and transformational trends, we have a number of business focuses. So we have all the traditional things that we've been going through the last number of years. Transaction search, being able to provide streamlined experiences to our end users via mobile banking app or a client interface. But we go into the compliance area where we have to talk about, okay, different types of payment initiatives, fraud, how do we fight financial crime inside of this organization? All the way to the security threats, the malware, the ransomware. Nowadays, we don't know what's an actual user versus what's an actual threat. The sophistication of AI is very, very good right now. So you can think about like authenticating to your banking application or into one of your banking services. AI is catching closer and is able to simulate user behavior, simulate user voices, images, everything. So the security aspect is really a major aspect for the future. And of course, we have all the ecosystems. So from all the different microservices, I had discussions with some people today talking about how do you do credit rating, how do you connect from a bank out to the credit service so that you can actually get that information, check that the credit service is all good before you actually put it through. So the business impact for Search AI use cases, let's just look at that quickly. It's just a case study. If we look at it right now, with Gen AI, we're able to increase the revenue by 20 to 30%. Operational costs, there's something around 30 to 40% because now we're automating a lot of this context inside of our organization. Humans cannot process this data volume anymore. It's just got too much for us. It's just too complex. So we need to automate a lot of this process. And with that, we'll have then the increase in operational efficiencies. And if I look at one of our customers, this is a top bank in Canada. So this bank saved 1.4 million in business value in 3 years by implementing the data platform that allowed them to build all of their applications on top of, with 1.9 million in platform value. So is your bank ready for AI? Contact us outside. We're outside waiting. I think I have enough ink to stamp a few more cards, and I'm looking forward to those conversations with you a little bit later. Thank you.